English Leap Podcast.
From Speak English with Class.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the English Leap Podcast. I'm Jennifer, your host, here to make learning English fun and helpful for your life.
And I'm Daniel. We're so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening at home, on the bus, or during a walk, we're glad to be a part of your day.
And today we're diving into a powerful and life-changing topic, the power of positive thinking.
Yes, today's topic is something that can change your life in small but powerful ways. Positive thinking isn't just about feeling happy. It's about how you see the world, how you react to problems, and how you grow from challenges.
Before we start, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had one of those days where everything goes wrong? Maybe you spilled coffee on your shirt, missed the bus, or forgot something important at work or school. Did you notice how one bad moment made the whole day feel worse?
Oh, Jennifer, I know that feeling too well. I remember once I dropped my phone in the morning. It wasn't even broken, just a small scratch. But instead of thinking, it's not so bad, I kept saying, what a terrible day. And guess what? My mood got worse, and even small problems felt like huge disasters.
Exactly. It's easy to let one small problem take over our whole day. But what if we could change that? What if we could learn to think differently, even during tough times? That's what positive thinking can do.
Yes, and don't worry. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. Positive thinking is about how we manage challenges, not avoiding them. So, Jennifer, let's start with the basics. What is positive thinking?
Good question, Daniel. Positive thinking means looking for the good in a situation, even if it's hard. It doesn't mean you ignore the bad things. Instead, you focus on what you can do or what's still okay.
That's a great way to put it. Let me give an example. Imagine you have a test, and you didn't score as high as you wanted. A negative thought would be, I'm so bad at this, I'll never improve. But a positive thought might be, I didn't do as well this time, but I can study differently and do better next time.
Exactly. It's about giving yourself a chance to learn and grow. When you think positively, you don't let one mistake define you. Instead, you focus on what's possible.
And here's the cool part. Positive thinking isn't just good for your mind. It's good for your body, too. Did you know that when we think positively, our brains release less cortisol? That's the stress hormone that can make us feel tired, tense, or even sick.
That's so true. And research shows that people who practice positive thinking often sleep better, have healthier hearts, and even live longer.
Wow, I didn't know that. It makes sense, though. When we think positively, we feel calmer and our bodies respond. Plus, it's not just about health. It helps with relationships and work, too. People like being around someone who brings good energy.
Oh, for sure. Nobody likes a doom and gloom person. Positive people tend to inspire others, which can open doors to new opportunities. But here's the thing. Before we can think positively, we have to notice when we're thinking negatively. This is harder than it sounds because sometimes negative thoughts happen so quickly that we don't even realize it.
Exactly. It's like an automatic reaction. For example, if you make a mistake, do you ever say to yourself, I'm so stupid, or I can't do anything right?
Oh yes, those are classic examples of negative thought patterns. Words like always and never are big clues. If you catch yourself thinking, I always fail, stop and ask yourself, is this really true? Have I never succeeded?
That's a great tip. And once you notice those patterns, you can start to change them. For example, instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, try saying, I'm learning, and it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes, it's all about being kind to yourself. Think of how you'd encourage a friend. You deserve the same support from yourself.
So how can we actually build a habit of positive thinking?
One of my favorite methods is keeping a gratitude journal. Every night I write down 3 things I'm thankful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes it's just, I had a good cup of coffee, or I finished my work on time.
I love that idea. Focusing on gratitude helps us see what's going well, even on hard days. I also try to practice positive self-talk. For example, if I feel nervous about a presentation, instead of thinking, I'm going to mess up, I say, I've prepared well and I'll do my best.
That's so powerful. And don't forget about visualization. Athletes do this all the time. They imagine themselves winning or performing well. For us, it could mean picturing yourself speaking confidently in English or achieving a goal.
Oh, I use that too. Before big events, I imagine everything going smoothly. It helps me feel more prepared and confident.
Okay, Daniel, here's something I think we often forget. The people around us can really affect how we think. Have you ever noticed how spending time with someone negative can make you feel down, even if you started the day feeling great?
Oh, absolutely. I had a coworker once who would always complain about work, the weather, even what was for lunch. After a while, I realized that their negativity was rubbing off on me. I'd leave work feeling tired, not because of my tasks, but because of the bad energy.
That's why building a positive support system is so important. Surrounding yourself with encouraging, optimistic people can make such a difference. These are the friends, family members, or even coworkers who lift you up when you're down and remind you of what's possible.
And for those who feel like they don't have that kind of support, don't worry. You can find positivity in communities, clubs, or even online groups. Volunteering is another great way to meet people who share your mindset and values.
Yes, and here's a tip for spreading positivity. Try giving compliments or saying kind words. It's amazing how a simple, "You're doing a great job," can brighten someone's day. And yours too.
Now, Jennifer, let's be real. Even with all the positive thinking in the world, life isn't always easy. What do we do when things go wrong?
That's such an important question. The key is to see setbacks not as the end of the road, but as opportunities to learn. For example, instead of thinking, "I failed, so I'll never succeed," you could say, "This didn't work, but now I know what to do differently next time."
I love that. It reminds me of the famous Thomas Edison quote, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work." What a great way to see challenges.
Exactly. And another important part of handling setbacks is self-compassion. It's okay to feel disappointed, but don't be too hard on yourself. Treat yourself the way you'd treat a friend, with kindness and encouragement.
That's so true. I like to ask myself, what can I learn from this situation? It's a small question, but it helps me focus on growth instead of the mistake itself.
Now, Daniel, I want to talk about something tricky: toxic positivity. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yes. It's when people try to be overly positive to the point where they ignore real problems or emotions. Like when someone says, "Just stay positive," without understanding that you might be really struggling.
Exactly. Toxic positivity can feel dismissive, like your feelings don't matter. Healthy positivity, on the other hand, acknowledges the challenges but focuses on how to move forward. For example, instead of saying, "Everything's fine," you could say, "This is hard, but I'll figure out a way to handle it."
That's such an important difference. Being positive doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means facing it with hope and resilience.
All right, so we've talked about building positivity and handling challenges. But here's the big question: how do we make positive thinking a lasting habit?
Great question. For me, it's all about daily routines. I like to start my day with a simple affirmation, like, "Today is a new chance to grow and learn." It sets the tone for the rest of the day.
I love that. And I think consistency is key. Even small habits like writing in a gratitude journal or practicing mindful breathing can have a big impact if you do them regularly.
Yes, and it's also important to check in with yourself from time to time. Ask, am I focusing on the good? Am I being kind to myself? If you notice negativity creeping back in, don't be discouraged. Just gently guide yourself back to a positive mindset.
That's such a good point. Positive thinking is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, but every small step adds up.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, we'd like to introduce a special segment we call Charlotte's Vocabulary Break. Charlotte, can you help us explain some important words from today's episode?
Absolutely, Daniel. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlotte, here to help you learn new words and how to use them in everyday life. Let's break down some key vocabulary from today's discussion. Gratitude, meaning feeling thankful or appreciating something good in your life. Example: I feel gratitude every morning when I see the sunshine. Resilience, meaning the ability to recover quickly from difficulties or tough situations. Example: even after losing the game, she showed resilience by practicing harder for the next one. Self-talk, meaning the inner voice in your head that talks to you about yourself or your situation. Example: my self-talk today was very positive and it helped me stay calm before my presentation. Visualize, meaning to imagine or picture something in your mind. Example: before the race, I like to visualize myself crossing the finish line. Cortisol, meaning a hormone that your body releases when you're stressed. Example: too much cortisol can make you feel tired and anxious, so it's important to manage stress. That's all for today's vocabulary. Practice these words in your daily conversations, and you'll be amazed at how quickly they become part of your language skills.
Thank you, Charlotte. That was so helpful.
Absolutely. Charlotte always makes learning new words so simple and fun. And listeners, remember to write down these words and try using them in your own sentences. So, Jennifer, what's the biggest takeaway from today's episode?
I think it's this. Positive thinking isn't about ignoring problems. It's about how you respond to them. By focusing on solutions, practicing gratitude, and being kind to yourself, you can create a mindset that helps you grow, even in tough times.
That's so true. And remember, listeners, small changes can lead to big results. Start with just one positive habit, like writing down 3 things you're grateful for, and see how it makes you feel.
And don't forget, we've got free PDF guide with all the tips and exercises we discussed today. The link is in the description, so be sure to grab it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the English Leap podcast. We hope it inspires you to start thinking positively and living your best life.
Until next time, stay positive, keep learning, and take that leap toward a better you.
Bye for now, everyone.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.